Ever felt ashamed about how you look and you're not even sure that you can ever change your relationship with food? Then this episode is for you. Tune in to discover how Tracy went from actually being an Overeaters Anonymous and struggling with food and weight her whole life to feeling comfortable in her body and even buying new bras that weren't from the big ladies section.
So tell me, if we can think back to before you joined Naturally Healthy Club at the beginning of the year, what was your relationship with food and your body like way back then?
So I've always had a very negative body image. I was heavy my entire life, except for like a few windows here and there. And I've always had kind of a back and forth relationship with food. It was either like a best friend and a buddy to hang out with, or an enemy that I needed to like stay away. Don't come in my door. I can't be with you. There was never any in between. It was in
Right.
what I learned through the Naturally Healthy Club is how unhealthy that was.
Right. So you didn't,
Yeah.
for a lot of that, like you kind of didn't even you didn't even have awareness about that it was like not a grain that was in this all or nothing kind of vibe.
No, I think there were a lot of negative messages about food that I learned through the years, and different, everything. I feel like I wherever I was in life, I needed that at that point. And so, I learned about exercise when I was younger, but then I always used that to try to keep my weight down, not thinking like what you taught about keeping them separate. I joined Overeaters Anonymous in my early 20s and learned a lot about my background, about my family history, about addiction, and learned some things then that were helpful for a long time, but not sustainable in real life, because there was a lot of, again, like good and bad foods. There was a lot of
Right.
strictness around food. There was a lot of messages about, you know, how hard it is to eat 3 meals or 3+ a day, and that, taking, the tiger out of the cage as a metaphor to look at like eating food. So it became like like being around food was just like got my anxiety up high,
Oh my goodness, of
and
course. Yeah,
yes,
right.
yes. But I did learn a lot of things that helped me at that time. It's just, I also put down flour and sugar for a lot of years, and it wasn't sustainable because there was flour and sugar like everywhere around me. And once we became parents and we're trying to cook for a family, we had flour and sugar things, and the weight just boop 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 came back on as soon as I started eating some of those things.
Yeah, right,
And
right.
I
So
I
you,
never had a good body image.
yeah, tell me more about that, Tracy.
So being a heavy kid, being chubby, I always felt like I wanted to be in the background and not be seen. I just wanted to kind of fade away a little bit and kind of watch the action, but not really be in it. And it was, so I like, life was like a spectator sport for a long time. Where instead of living it, I was kind of watching other people live it, and never wanted to take risks, never wanted to put myself out there because I was just always ashamed of how I looked, and always like trying to fix my clothes because they, like bumps and bulges always showing, just never feeling comfortable in my skin, in my body, like
Right.
for most of my
And
life. But when I lost a lot of weight before I got married, because I always thought like, okay, I do not want to be a heavy bride. I wanted to feel good going down the aisle. And I did. I lost a lot of weight for that. And it stayed off for, maybe a good 5 years or so, and I felt good then, but it was a window. When you look at like my whole life, I mean, I'm 58. It was a tiny drop in the bucket of my life that I actually felt okay. And most of my life I haven't. And that's
yeah,
been hard.
right.
That's been hard.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah. And yeah, it is, isn't it? Right. And you're definitely not alone there, Tracy, that's for sure. So I guess before you started working with in the Naturally Healthy Club, like what were your biggest concerns
Biggest concerns when I found out about the
Yeah,
Naturally Healthy
yeah,
Club,
before
is that
you,
what you
yeah,
mean?
yeah, before you started. Okay.
So I was blessed with learning about you and the Naturally Healthy Club from my good friend Lisa, who's been a friend since childhood. And so I heard a lot about Jules. Jules said this, Jules a lot. And they were like little snippets of, things that Lisa would share with me, and it would give me something to think about, like, oh, okay, yeah, that's how. But Lisa, to me, was like, she was always a thin person. So she didn't have my struggles. And I thought, okay, well, okay, you helped her, but it doesn't mean you can
She's
help me.
different to me. Yeah,
Yes,
right,
doesn't mean you can
right.
help me. I've struggled with food and my weight almost my entire life. And I really didn't feel like you could help me. I really was concerned, like, I don't really know. But at the same point, I just decided to kind of take one step at a time and just take the risk. But I that was my biggest concern, is that, okay, you helped Lisa, but you weren't going to be able to help me.
Yeah, right. Because I'm kind of a lost cause. It's like I'm different.
No,
Yeah.
seriously. Like, here I
Yeah.
was inching up on 60, still having the same problems that I've been having, for a lot of my life. Like, what the heck is wrong with me? There's no way you're going to be. That's kind of how I felt.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah.
And when you don't know that something's going to work, of course, I could think I think, yeah, like, of course you don't know. And of course you like, there's those doubts there. So like, but
Right.
so great, Lisa, that, I mean, Tracy, that you just decided to give it a go anyway. Hey, like that you decided to.
I did. And honestly, I think it was, a lot of the things that Lisa had shared with me. It just sounded like, oh, okay, maybe there's something I can learn from Jules and the Naturally Healthy Club, even if she can't completely transform my life and help me. So it was one of those, like, all right, maybe there's something I can learn from
I'll
this.
get something out of it. Wow, what a great
Yes.
thought to go into it with.
Yes.
You like, there's something here for me. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, amazing. Okay, and so what's been your favorite part about doing this work in the Naturally Healthy Club, Tracy?
So thinking about that, it was hard to say just one thing. But one that jumped out immediately was just learning about and meeting people from all over the world that have some of the same stories or some of the same struggles that I have over here in Little Worcester, Massachusetts. That there are people from all over the world. That was really a neat thing for me. In listening to all the different accents from where people are coming from, including yours, I've just really enjoyed that. And that was something that was just, just like, oh, this is so cool. This
An
is so cool.
unexpected bonus. Yeah,
Yes.
right.
Yes,
Yeah,
pretty much.
great. And do you think
Yeah.
that feeling of, oh, like, here's me in Massachusetts, but there's people literally all over the world that have my struggles. Like, do you think that just really helps you feel connected with humanity and helps you feel like you're part of something? It's not just you. Like,
Yeah, something bigger than myself that helped me feel less alone in my struggles. It helped me, like, as people would share different things in circle, I say, oh my God, I've thought that exact same thing. And okay, so I'm not crazy. This isn't just about me, because other people have had these same thoughts and struggles and challenges. And
yeah.
so that it was like a powerful thing, that, like, okay, I'm not alone in this.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And what's been the biggest transformation that you've got over the last few months, Tracy?
I would say one of the biggest has been being comfortable in my body and in my clothes. That has been a big, big thing for me. For a lot of years, I became the photographer in the family so that I could be behind, the
The
the camera taking
camera.
the shots. And honestly, there were, I don't even know, countless family vacations that it looked like I never attended, because there were no actual photos where I would be in it, because I was always so like, no, you can't take my picture. No, 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 not comfortable ever being in front of in front of the screen, in front of the photo lens or whatever. So being comfortable in my body and being comfortable in clothes has been huge. You know, I went down a couple of
Yeah.
sizes. I even went down a bra size.
Oh,
And
new
I'm
bras are
in
good,
like,
aren't they, Tracy? Yeah.
I'm in regular sizes. I was in like big lady sizes for a long time. And let me tell you, going to that department does not feel good. It doesn't feel good. So
Yeah.
that has been fabulous. Now,
Right.
I'm not, again, like, I'm not a thin person right now. I still have weight on me, but I'm okay. I'm okay with it. And that's, I think, the other part is me being okay with where I am.
So accepting yourself where you are.
Yes.
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 Oh, that's so great, Tracy.
I
I love
know it
hearing
makes me
that.
want to
Yeah.
cry.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What a beautiful place to be. And so, yeah, and so tell I remember you posted something in the group about like with the clothes thing, like that you recently bought some sweaters.
Sweater.
Yes.
And I bought some sweaters. I haven't worn sweaters in like 2+ decades, Jules, like
Isn't that
decades.
amazing? Yeah.
Just because they're like, you know, they can kind of show your bumps and bulges and everything. And I always felt so self-conscious, always so much time and energy that I put into that, as opposed to just being like, oh, I'm okay the way I am, you know. I just, so that was a big deal. Bought a couple
Yeah,
sweaters.
you bought some sweaters and you're loving your sweaters. Yeah,
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah.
Excellent. Um, and how do you think like having this change in like that self-acceptance and also being a couple of dress sizes smaller, like how has that like impacted other areas of your life, Tracy?
So I would say overall, you know, I'm a happier person. I've always had a pretty positive outlook, but it was never towards myself. It was like, you know, pleasant person to be around, could work well with others, like that kind of thing, but not ever towards me. And so I think overall, I'm a happier person in my everyday, day to day. And, you know, I noticed that like my relationship with my husband is a little more positive, and my relationship with my daughter, and, you know, just you know, my just work acceptance of like how things are going. And I just feel like there's that ripple effect of like happiness that has kind of rippling out and touching other areas of my life, because I feel good about me.
Yes, isn't that
Yeah.
amazing? Like that when you feel better in yourself about you, that you do like you show up differently to your relationships and you show up differently to
Yes.
work. And yeah, oh, I'm so happy to hear that, Tracy. Um, okay, and so what's been the thing that surprised you most about working in the Naturally Healthy Club?
That Lisa was right.
And that it would
That
work, that it did work for you.
yes, that you actually could help me. That your very simple, straightforward, one baby step at a time process actually works. You know, I went in as a doubting Thomas. I went in because I didn't have any other, like, to me, it was like, all right, well, if you're not going to do this, what are you going to do? You're just going to be miserable. I was kind of in that point of my life where I was almost I was trying to convince myself to just accept that I was just going to be heavy. And this is just how I was going to eat, and like, okay, whatever. And just throw the towel in and just keep living my life, you know, until I die of a heart attack or something. And instead I was like, all right, well, I could give this a try and see what happens. And it's been
And I can always
amazing.
go back to having a heart attack if I want to.
I could always go back there. And it's been amazing learning all of these tiny sustainable changes, in that they add up and make a difference. And it's changed the way I think. And honestly, you know, I've written this down like in my journal, and I meant to do a post about that it's kind of like brainwashing, but my brain needed a washing.
Right.
You know, like I needed some of my negative things in my head to be washed away and replaced with healthier, you know, mantras, healthier concepts, healthier, you know, ways of living. So anyway, that's the long answer,
Right.
but
Yeah, right.
yes.
So and do you think, like, did it surprise you, like, that there actually aren't any bad foods and that you can, like, survive, like, that
Yes.
what you've learned in Overeaters Anonymous isn't real, hey? Like,
Yes.
that you can
That was
actually,
amazing
you
to
can
learn. Oh my
have
God.
sugar and flour in your life and
Yes.
still lose weight. Like, yeah.
Yes. And you know what's been amazing is I have embraced your planning the intentional treats. That's the first thing that I did. The first step that I took, one thing at a time is planning that intentional. And I don't have a problem with treat because I think I work hard. Life is hard. I like to treat myself. So I don't have a problem with the words at all. I look forward to it. And now what I try to sometimes do is plan like almost like, I don't want to say like an event around it, but more like I set the scene. So, if I'm going to have this, this like coconut macaroon or something I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to, I
yum.
might take it to like the park and sit at a bench after I take a walk around, or I'll go to the botanical garden and I'll bring my treat so that it's like it's bigger than just the food, it's like setting the
Amazing. So
scene.
it's a treat, like, it's a treat for all of you. Like, and you, I love that. So, and you've got a bit of
Yes.
a ritual around it. So you're enjoying this food and you're also enjoying the scenery and you're making an occasion of it. I love that,
Yes. And then
Tracy.
it
Yeah.
kind of isn't just about the food too. It's like the whole experience. I don't want everything too to just be like I'm only focused on the food because that's not healthy, either. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's been kind of neat. I'm not as good about it now in the cold weather because I do like those experiences that are like out, but like,
Outside, eating outside's
sometimes
so
now
nice, isn't it?
I'll make myself like a nice cup of tea and and plan my treats so I'm like sitting down and and
Tracy.
those 3 bites I enjoy. I'm like, this is my first bite, I'm enjoying it. This is my second.
Right. Then you say
Love it.
really like maximizing the pleasure, you've really taken that on
Yes.
board. And so
Yes.
yeah. So do you feel like you're enjoying food more now, Tracy?
Overall, I feel like I am. I think I used to just like I used to eat such volumes that I would just be shoving it in, and for some reason I felt like there was never going to be enough, never going to be enough food, that I was never going to be full, I don't even know. I just now the slowing down, the putting down my cutlery or putting down that half a burger or something, it's just become part of what I'm doing. I'm not even always thinking about it, but it feels right and it's helping me to just like
Slow
take a
it
breath and
down.
just
Yeah.
enjoy the experience of like whatever I'm eating and whoever I'm with. It's helped a lot. It really, really has.
Yeah. And so have you found that now you are like that you do get to a point where there is enough food, like that you're not always, yeah. Isn't
Yeah.
that amazing that when you slow down and tune in, what a difference that is, like that
Yes.
you can actually feel satisfied. It's like radical.
And I still have to work at that, the whole like tuning into my body to figure out when I'm satisfied is not like I'm not there 100%, and so I still work at that one, but I am noticing I take less food because my body needs less food. I used to make plates for my family and I'd put as much on mine as my almost 6 foot tall husband who's a grown man, and I'm 5'1". I would
Right,
as much
right.
food on my plate as his. And it's like this whole process, you and the naturally healthy club have taught me I don't need, my body doesn't need all of that. I'm learning what my body needs, and that's
Amazing.
making a big difference. It is.
Yeah, so great.
Yeah.
And but also like being satisfied that with that. It's not like you're like looking over your husband's plate going, oh, I need like, I want more, I want more. Like you're able to like,
No.
this
And
is
you
the
know what
right amount for
happens?
me.
Because I'm doing this and he's not, is I'm still eating my smaller portion and he's already wolfed down all of his because he's on his
Oh, he's
own path and
gone,
his own
right?
journey. And
Yeah, yeah, of course.
and I'll say things like, oh, it helps me so much when I put my fork down. But I'm not his mom. He's an adult, and so he's got to make his own choices. So all I can do is make good choices for myself, and then see what happens down the road. But
Yeah, so great, Tracy.
yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
and so who would you recommend the Naturally Healthy Club to, Tracy? This one with
So
some
I was
tips.
thinking about that, and I think people who are stuck, I think it's really helpful to know that there's something else. Anyone who's had a negative relationship with food, a negative body image, I think there's like a mass of people that could benefit from learning the process and the tiny habits. I just really think that you do a great job in the like replacing those negative messages that I think so many of us grew up with and tell ourselves, and it doesn't need to be like that. So I think people who are stuck and think that there's like me,
I'm just going to have to be
this-
heavy for the rest of my
that's
life.
it. I'm going to have to just be like this, that there really is, something else out there. And I've said to my friend Lisa, her and I have both said, I wished I had learned this when I was young, because it would have, there's so many days, months, years of my life that would have maybe been different, but I think I'm where I'm supposed to be. And I might not
Yeah.
have been ready for that, all those years ago. Of course, I don't think you had started the program at that point, but
Yeah, I
just
hadn't figured
saying,
it out myself.
I like that whole, that idea of, we're right where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
I've used that so many times with other things too, not just food. I think it speaks volumes.
Yeah, amazing. Oh, thank you so much for taking time to have a chat, Tracy. I really appreciate hearing your story. And it's been really fun working with you.
Well, thank you so much, Jules. And even though you don't see me show up for meets often because of just my life, I try not to miss a week listening to you and people share. I just have really gotten a lot out of it. And
Yeah.
I don't know how long I'll continue, but it's been working, and I feel like it's been a positive part of my life. So I appreciate you, Jules.
Yeah, amazing. And actually, that's a good thing to note for people that are listening, if you're thinking about joining and you're not, like, you've got a busy life and you may not be able to attend the live calls. Like, you
Yes.
can still get amazing results just from listening to the replays or watching the videos.
Yeah, and actually, like, maybe trying some of the steps, trying some of the things. I wanted to share with you. This was my first thing that I wrote in my journal back in February, right after I joined. And I wrote that one of the things, because you had put something about, you wanted us to put what we wanted to focus on, what we want, like, what are the things that we want to look for our goals, like the first 2 to 3 months. And I had put that I wanted to change my self-concept and become comfortable and happy in my body in February.
In
I didn't even
February.
remember I had written that. And look there it
Right.
is right there. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Wow, Tracy, be careful what you write down. You never know
I
what you forget.
know, it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed it.
You want to be like Tracy and become a happier person who feels good about herself and is enjoying the benefits of that improved self-confidence rippling into all the areas of her life. That's possible for you. And even potentially buying sweaters for the first time in decades. Then apply for the Naturally Healthy Club. And even if you don't want to buy sweaters, apply for the Naturally Healthy Club today. So just Google stone soup, stone is in bowl, no, stone is in rock, soup is in a bowl of, and click on the coaching tab, or just check out the link in the show notes. And yeah, I would love